So what now?
What now? We finally got the evidence we needed to be taken seriously.
Nobody in corporate is ignoring this.
Well, it must be working. It must be working. The woke have finally started to realize, at least Hollywood and all these other organizations have realized that these diversity, equity, and inclusion hucksters, grifters, cry bullies, they actually don't add anything to the company. They actually don't add any diversity either. They just create problems. They whine, they complain, they call everybody ists and phobes, and really nothing changes except their own bank accounts. Many of these people making salaries deep in the six figures. While there has been a woke purge, not only Disney, not only Netflix, not only Warner Brothers, they have all decided to get rid of their diversity, equity, and inclusion chiefs. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, though. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that they're doing this in a time in which Hollywood box offices have never been lower. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that Netflix is struggling deeply with failed adaptation after failed adaptation. Every little once in a while, there's a little peanut in the little steamy pile that they leave on your front lawn, like Squid Games, but that's not even their product. Now, activists are upset that these companies are getting rid of these losers, and you just hate to see it. Or if you're me, you're extremely happy to see it because it means that we're making a difference. It means that maybe down the line we could get some decent entertainment. Equity activists outraged at Disney and Netflix for forcing DE&I chiefs out. Diversity activists are accusing the entertainment industry of, quote, corporate blackface and running out of white guilt after a number of diversity, equity, and inclusion executives at top entertainment and media companies suddenly stepped down or were forced out of their roles. Gee, who wouldn't want these people around, right? You're a racist if you don't hire them. If you fire them, you're a racist. If you don't promote them fast enough, you're a racist. If you give them any feedback on their job performance, you're a racist. Who wouldn't want to pay these people $300,000 a year to create problems in their company? Between June 20th and July 3rd, 5 executives overseeing DE&I initiatives at leading entertainment companies, including Disney, Netflix, and Warner Brothers and Discovery, left their posts. It's a purge. They got bought out. They got kicked out. Nobody wants them there. Kick them out without their coats. They're gone. All of the outgoing executives are black women. Of course. I mean, let's be honest. That's the only people that got these jobs. Black women. Overwhelmingly, at least in terms of the public-facing ones, there always seem to be black women. Why? Because they were bullied into it. They were bullied into it. They were saying, you don't have enough diversity. Says who? Me. Now also pay me a ton of money and I'll fix that problem. Except they never did. It was all a grift. It was all a grift to enrich themselves, much like BLM, the corporation. BLM, the corporation, never cared about black people. They cared about specific black people themselves. You can look up how they burned through hundreds of millions of dollars enriching themselves. That's public record. How Patrisse Cullors, the former leader or whatever, CEO, is under heavy scrutiny for enriching herself. Where'd all that hundreds of millions of dollars go from the black to the black community? No. It went to a few of them. An LA Times story published Tuesday linked the high-profile exits to the backlash against wokeness by conservative politics and pundits. I can't tell you enough how much of a win this is. It's rare I celebrate someone losing their job, and I don't know any of these women in particular. They might be fine people, but I'm happy that these roles are getting extinguished. They add zero, zip, zero, nothing, nada, zilch in terms of quality and entertainment. As many speculate whether the job changes are a result of growing pushback to the left's diversity push. The story titled, High Profile Exit Sparks Fears That Hollywood Diversity Pledges Are Just PR, focuses its ire on the entertainment industry, citing a number of outraged equity activists, these are, again, other grifters, who accuse Hollywood of making insincere commitments to diversity and racial justice programs for, quote, PR after St. Floyd riots in the summer of 2020. Now, let me be very clear. Have you seen a commercial lately? When's the last time you saw a commercial that was like a white couple? Or a straight white couple, I should say. I gotta say, it's extremely rare. They're usually interracial. If they're white, they're gay. It's very obvious that Hollywood made a commitment to diversity. Of course, swinging the pendulum so far the other way that their own customers no longer identify with their product. But that's a story for another time. Companies have since begun to scale back such commitments, and in some areas, employees dedicated to diversity initiatives, leading some insiders and advocates to fear that the doors to more opportunities once again have been slammed shut. In the LA Times story reads, quote, 2020 was the year that we were definitely making strides, but there wasn't any strategy, there wasn't any plan. Kim Creighton, the self-described anti-racist economist and author of the book Profit Without Oppression, told the LA Times. It was a PR moment, corporate blackface. I told the people at the time, white guilt isn't going to last. Well, I don't have any guilt for being white, and nor should people who are black have guilt, or Asian, or any. You should have nothing to be guilty for based on the color of your skin. The idea that in 2023 in the West, that black folks don't have the same opportunities as anyone else is absurd. Harvard is giving the black community 300 extra points on their SATs to qualify them for admittance, even if they don't qualify on their own merits. Harvard is reducing 200 points off SAT scores of Asian students. Are you kidding me? It's never been a better time to be climbing the corporate ladder and being anything but white. Why do you think there's such an explosion of LGBTQ people? Think about it. There was a study that came out just the other day that 40% of students at universities identify as LGBTQ. Why do you think that is? Sure, it's a social contagion. But what else? Maybe it's because that's the only dang way they can get into school. Maybe that's because that's the only way they're getting high-paying jobs. And then these companies hire these people based on who they sleep with. And it backfires. And it doesn't work. And now they've finally realized that. That's what's happening here. Vic Bullock, the founding executive director of NAACP Hollywood Bureau, called the Hollywood exits frightening. Hollywood seems to be sending a message to these programs that were designed to give more access to African Americans are no longer needed. Really? It doesn't seem that way in the products that I consume. Practically every major movie that's coming out seems extraordinarily diverse. Very, very diverse. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just about hiring the right person for the job. That's all anyone wants. You shouldn't be hiring based on skin color. I thought this was like day one not being racist stuff. It's still racist if you're saying it about anybody else. It's not any other race other than black people. It's still racist. If you're making a decision based on someone's skin color, that's racist. Okay? I don't care if it's white people or if it's Asian people. Billions of dollars were committed, Madison said. What has been the actual accomplishments? Are you kidding? Watch a TV commercial. Look at all the new shows on TV. Look at everything Netflix is funding. You're joking, right? Very little, if anything. These people are delusional. So here we are. Now these companies say they're recognizing, rethinking, and taking a hard look. They say they are not pulling away from their commitments. No, they're not. But they didn't really have much of a commitment in the first place. Wah, 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 wah. Go make your own Hollywood. That's what you all told conservatives, right? Go make your own media, whitey. So do that. There's lots of wealthy people in the black community and certainly in the white community that I'm sure would fund this type of thing. I'm sure they already do. Creighton claimed, so LA Times says Janelle English decided to step away from her job at the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Science, the Oscars, to take time to recharge after struggling to push her narrative forward, or initiative, same thing. Creighton claimed it was because of the many of the female diversity chiefs were too busy navigating white people's feelings. What? Again, who wouldn't want to hire these people? Who wouldn't want to hire and work with these people? Disney, Netflix, Warner Brothers, Discovery reportedly disagreed with disagreed with the characterization, say their commitments to diversity and inclusion are genuine and have not wavered. They point to diverse high-level executives who remain, saying a spat of DE&I exits were unrelated, largely due to personal circumstances or corporate restructures, the LA Times reported. Disney, Netflix, and Warner Brothers Discovery could not be reached for comment. The DEI push is not just being scrutinized in Hollywood. In corporate America, similarly themed ESG movement, which has companies prioritizing social justice and the green agenda, have faced such public backlash that the CEO of BlackRock, which is widely seen as a champion of the ESG cause, expressed remorse last month, saying he was ashamed of being a part of the conversation, reframing such principles as consensus capitalism. This is a huge win. Congratulations out there. Maybe we'll actually get a good movie once in a while. People are waking up, and it's all because you all take a stand. If you enjoyed the video, if you haven't yet, leave a like on it. If you haven't followed wherever you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, please do follow now. It's hard enough to reach you all, and I really appreciate you viewing, and we'll talk to you again real soon.